So to review the different types of teeth, incisors, that's the teeth at the front of the mouth, are good for cutting and tearing. These are often used as flat scoops in a lot of herbivores, but they also do similar function in carnivores or omnivores. Canines, down here, these can be enlarged for piercing. A lot of them are used for hunting and killing prey, less than for eating. Premolars or carnassial teeth, those are located in this area, are good for shearing or removing meat from bones if you're ever eating chicken wings. Think about when you take the bone and you want to scrape the meat off of it, you go immediately to those premolar carnassial teeth. And then molars, grinding or chewing. If you're eating a salad, you'll move the lettuce to the back teeth and you can grind and chew for as long as you need to before swallowing. Those are your molars. Western lowland gorilla. All right, so respiration. We mentioned that mammals have diaphragm. It is a muscular wall that separates the thoracic, that is the upper chest cavity, from the abdominal cavity, your abdomen. It is used in breathing. Again, singers learn how to control and strengthen this muscle so that they can better project their voice. The koala. Metabolism. The Arctic fox is a good example of a mammal that uses its metabolism to live in pretty extreme conditions. Having endothermy, regulating your body temperature by controlling metabolism, by controlling blood flow, allows mammals to live in a wide variety of habitats. So this is an example of the young Arctic fox hunting in the snow. This fox lives in incredibly cold climate. How do you hunt for food when you live in this incredibly cold climate? So what they do is they spend their time not hunting on the surface, but listening for traffic underneath the ice and snow.
It's a meager existence. And the worst of the winter is still to come.
So pretty tough environment to live in, harsh circumstances to find food.
By midwinter, temperatures drop to minus 50 degrees Celsius.
Minus 50 degrees Celsius temperatures.
Nearly impossible.
But notice how this fox is hunting.
But a faint sound beneath the snow.
It's listening for the sounds of the feet of the mice scrabbling through tunnels underneath the snow and ice.
It's time to become a hunter.
So before the mouse escapes, they have to time their jump.
It's not easy. It's hard to judge the leap.
And they have to carefully get into the opening right when they time it right so that they can get exactly where the mouse is. Pretty impressive hunting technique. And hopefully they hit a spot where it actually goes to the tunnel. And we'll get to see some successful hunting here in just a second. Pretty graceful, even if it looks a little awkward. And that's a lemming. So it's captured a lemming. All right, so nervous system, reproduction, and development. Some plains zebra. Nervous system. Mammalian cerebrums are highly folded. So there have been studies into human intelligence for a long time, and originally it was thought that the larger your brain, the smarter you are. And what they actually determined in studying brains posthumously is the people that tended to have higher IQ, that were classified as being smarter, tended to have more folds on their brain, not necessarily a larger mass brain. It's because the increase of the surface area allows for more nerve connections. Surface area is big, from everything from mitochondria having energy production at the surface of the folds inside of them. Same thing, surface area allows for more of the activity that's going on in the brain. Reproduction. Having an estrus cycle, period of increased sexual activity. During certain parts of the life cycle of certain mammals, the female will be more receptive to mating. She'll ovulate because of hormones that are released during different time periods. And so we see this in a lot of mammals where they go through a reproductive time period. Sometimes it's triggered by the springtime. Some variations in estrus. Sometimes you can have delayed fertilization. So the female can mate and hold off on fertilizing until being woken up from winter dormancy, some kind of winter sleep, hibernation, and then will fertilize eggs after that point to give birth. Embryonic diapause, development is delayed by a week or two after fertilization, so the egg is fertilized, and embryo development doesn't happen right away. Again, this is another case of the female parent making sure that the conditions are more favorable. There's enough food, resources, habitat available to raise their young. So again, the therapsid ancestry, that mammalian diapsid lineage, these are the ancestors of modern mammals. And then we get to the prototherians. Prototherians, the earliest mammals. Metatherians, the middle group of mammals. That's the marsupials. The eutherians, the true mammals, that is the placental mammals, the ones that give birth to live young. So development. So breaking down development by groups, that is an echidna and that is a platypus, are two examples of order Monotremata. Monotremata means one whole. Why do they have that name? It's because they have a cloaca, just like we saw in fish, and reptiles, amphibians, birds, one opening that combines urogenital and reproductive openings. They are oviparous. The monotremes, most primitive of the mammals, they still lay eggs. Their eggs are more reptilian in nature. They're kind of leathery. They originated in North America. Now you can only find the platypus and the echidna in Australia. They have a slow metabolism, so they're more reptilian in their ability to regulate their body temperature. They have, as a result, the lowest body temperatures of all the mammals. You can see here, this is the full range of monotremes. The platypus, singular species, and then the echidna, the short-beaked echidna, western longbeak, eastern longbeak, and Attenborough's long-beaked echidna. David Attenborough is the naturalist who this is named after, and we've probably seen him in multiple videos. Then we get to Metatheria, the middle mammals, or sometimes called cohort Marsupialia. This group is known for having a pouch. They give birth to their young, who then crawl, still as developing embryos, into a pouch at about 4 to 5 weeks, and then it will attach to a nipple inside of the pouch of the mother, and it will continue to develop, and even when it leaves the pouch, it will still return to the pouch for a long time. That length of time depends on the species, but you can see the kangaroo at the top with a joey sticking its head out of her pouch. So this group is also known for having a cloaca, and they have two sex organs, two vaginas or two penes. So not a singular sex organ, but dual sex organs. There's about 334 species of marsupials that have been identified. The vast majority of them live in Australia. However, they seem to have originated in North America, and we still have the North American opossum that lives in North America. And unfortunately for marsupials, they were outcompeted everywhere else on the planet. Only by geographic isolation in Australia has that group been able to survive without interference from the placental mammals. Most are found in Australia. Several species of opossum continue to thrive in the Americas. I think one of the most recent mammals that has been discovered was discovered in South America, and it was an opossum. So you can see there Tasmanian devil, koala, wallaby. And then we get to the last group of mammals. These are the eutherians, or true mammals, and sometimes this is grouped as cohort Placentalia. There are somewhere around 4,000 species of placental mammals. All other mammals, this group, are viviparous, give birth to live young. In this group, the mothers carry the young internally. They are nourished by the placenta, so they are attached to the blood flow of their mother. They get their antibodies, they get their food, they get their oxygen from a connection through the placenta. Their blood passes very close to the blood of the mother, and that's how all of those things are exchanged. Everything from bats, whales, dolphins, monkeys, humans, and elephants are placental mammals. What makes placental special? Gestation period. So instead of laying eggs, instead of holding on to the offspring for about 4 to 5 weeks and then having it continue to grow outside of the mother's body, there's a longer gestation period. The offspring stay inside the mother and they develop longer inside the mother. In general, the larger the mammal, the longer the gestation time. Human beings clock in at about 9 months. I believe the blue whale is somewhere around 16 months, I think. Elephants also have a very long gestation period. Convergent evolution in placentals and marsupials. So to give you a quick comparison, the ecological niches in Australia are similar to those in the rest of the world, and so you see convergent evolution. The marsupial mole is developed or evolved to living in places that the placental mole lives in. There's a numbat that has a long tongue that eats ants. Then there's the placental anteater. Marsupial mouse, placental mouse. The spotted couscous fills a similar ecological niche as the lemur. There are flying squirrels that are placental. The flying phalanger is an analog that lives in Australia. The bobcat, hunting cat, and the wolf, another predator, meat-eating predators. In Tasmania, there's both the tiger cat and Tasmanian wolf. However, pretty much anywhere that marsupials have come in contact with placental mammals, with the exception of the opossum, they had been driven extinct, outcompeted for resources. Placental mammals are much better at reproducing and being ready to go, having birth of young after development, as opposed to marsupials, which have that connection to mom for such a long time, and it makes their development less successful and have a lower level of fitness.